So, in my pursuit for racial equality, um, one of the things I did when I got back from maternity leave was get elected into the BAME chair role for the Southeast. I think it's the kind of role that I can use to influence key changes for BAME staff in the region. My particular focus, actually, something I've always wanted, is to have more BAME staff in senior exec positions in the NHS who can support and lift up other BAME staff. As part of this, I'm working closely with a leadership academy and regional leads, EDI teams to try and get um, more BAME staff trained and worked up to key ESM posts in the region. Okay, so I want to talk a little about where I am now. So I'm about to start a role as in the national team as the Deputy Director of Intensive Support, as a band nine. I started off 10 years ago in the NHS as a band two. Um, I wasn't made aware of any kind of graduate schemes or anything at that point. I used to ask people about what opportunities there were for me, and I'd repeatedly got told it's not for you. We wouldn't approve it anyway. Um, and when I got into the band too, and I had quite a racially abusive manager at that point as well, who made me do all our reports and presentations and submit it on her behalf, um, I decided that I needed to do something to progress. And I remember they had a few roles, but you needed to be able to touch type, which I never knew. And you need to know all the medical terms. So I remember I'd finish work at 5 and I'd spend 5 till 9 in the evening learning everything. I'd go through meetings, understanding how all the leads worked, how the team structure worked, how service management worked. And then within 6 months, a role came up, and I applied for it and I got it. And then again in that role, I went and asked people to tell me how, people who were more senior than me to tell me how their programs work. And every time I'd say to people, I'm interested in progressing, people would say to me, no, 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 stay where you are. People like you don't progress. And I took that on as fuel to motivate me to keep going, to keep learning. And I remember from the day I started the NHS till I got to an 8C, actually, I would always work evenings, learning, progressing, reading as much as I could, absorbing as much as I could. Even on my weekends, I would just learn, 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 because I knew the competition for me was someone who was already accepted as being, a band 8A even, or band 7. Even though I knew I had more capability, I knew I had the skills and the knowledge. So I used to work harder than everyone else. I'd go to interviews and people would say to me, "You're not the right fit." And I never ever knew what that meant. But again, I knew I just had to show them that I was more capable to the point they couldn't question my appointment into the role. And I knew that in the role I couldn't slack even in the slightest. I had to keep working. So I did, and I worked and worked and worked to the point I remember because I went to do some private consultancy work and I got more responsibilities. People, pay you based on what you achieve. And for me, that worked very well. When I came back into substantive employment, um, I remember actually one of my line managers saying to me recently, he said to me, "You're someone who's very special that you come across only once in a lifetime, and you need to keep that." And I'm not surprised if I see significantly more senior roles in the near future. And I think you just have to keep going sometimes and prove yourself repeatedly.